Welcome to another edition of Racing World. Well, every single time I've gone to start this podcast, something in the world of IndyCar has happened. But it's time to put a line in the sand and go, right, here we go. This is the news that we know so far for 2026. And boy, oh boy, this off-season has been shaping up. A lot of the things we expected were going to happen, like the announcement of the calendar, which we'll deal with shortly, and also some of this driver realignment. Just want to clarify one of the things from the last show that we did about Will Power, and there was discussion about whether or not he was on a single-year deal or a multi-year deal with his transition across to the Andretti Global organization. I can tell you that it's a multi-year deal. It is not a single, it's a multi, and that was one of the stumbling blocks about keeping him at Penske as well. But it is a multi-year deal for Will Power in the new Andretti team. Now, the thing there is a multi-year deal, for those who are unaware of it, is generally 2 years plus a renewal of one. So it's kind of like a 3-year deal, but a bailout after year 2. So you would expect that that's the type of deal that they've done. Don't forget that the Fernando Alonso management group, including Aureo Servia, was the people behind it, helping engineer a lot of that, because that's who Will is contracted to now as part of his driver management. So Will Power, we know, secure, done and dusted for at least the next 2 years in the NTT INDYCAR series, so we can tick that box. Onwards to the calendar. Now, did it disappoint us? Did it excite us? Did it kind of just do what we thought it was going to do? I think there was probably a bit of both in there, or a bit of all of those equations. The big thing, of course, was after our last show and the head of DHL saying that they were going to Mexico and he was looking forward to it. Guess what? There's no Mexico. Now, there's a lot of kind of computations around why there was no Mexico. Fox saying, of course, that it clashes with World Cup soccer, and soccer is, of course, on the Fox network in the US. So maybe that had something to do with it. It's certainly I'm going to say, good excuse, but we don't know. We don't know the inner workings of that. But what is interesting, of course, is don't forget that Fox is a 1/3 shareholder now in IndyCar itself. And that gives them a lot of power around that table. So if they decide they don't want that thing to happen, a third of the vote goes, yeah, it's not going to happen. But anyway, no Mexico in 2026. Is it a disappointment? Yes, in many ways it is. It was pretty hyped up, but, that's just the way it goes. So looking at the calendar, it's going to kick off in St. Petersburg as per normal. There'll be NASCAR trucks there as well, I believe, on that weekend. So that'll make things interesting. And assumably all the support categories for IndyCar, like the USF Championship and, of course, Indy Next. Onwards then to Phoenix. This is the first new one, the return to Phoenix. Presumably it'll be a night race. Haven't got the details on that yet, because it's a double bill with the NASCAR Cup Series. First time ever these guys have gone on a double bill with each other. If that's an event to go to, well, boy, that's an event to go to. Phoenix, a great facility, went there a few years ago, provides good racing, good everything, easy to get to through Sky Harbor Airport, and stay in the Phoenix area itself. So there's a lot of good things. And the fact that you get a double bill with NASCAR and IndyCar, I think that's going to be pretty impressive. So we're going to give that one a big tick. Looking forward to that. That's March the 7th. Then onwards to another new circuit, which of course is March the 15th, in the downtown streets of Arlington in Texas. Bigger than Texas, as they say, and this one's going to rock. New Zealand designer Tony Kottman is behind the formation of the track. Tony, a great friend of mine, and he'll do a superb job. As he said to me, and I said earlier on, he believes this track is going to be badass fast. That's what he said, badass fast. It's got a lot of great things, and the track will go underneath a VIP area as well. So we're looking forward to that. Then the series for round 4 returns to the Barber Motorsport Park on March the 29th. So we've finally kind of filled up this March period where we've got consistent races rather than a big hole. So I think that's good. Barber is always a great race. Very fast circuit, very technical. You've got to get a sequence of corners right in that. Good one to get to if you live in the Midwest, easy enough to drive down to the Birmingham area in Alabama. Not difficult at all, so that's a good one. Then we move on to April. Only one event in April, but it's the return to the streets of Long Beach. I think Long Beach is a great facility. Again, been there many times. Love it there. Great food carts, just the food trucks and stuff there, phenomenal. Always plenty of trackside entertainment, always plenty of support races. Would assume that there's the Drift Championship back there again. The stadium trucks, Innsmouth's there with its mini enduro type race. So a lot going on. Gets another great tick in my books anyway. Then we come to the month of May, as it's referred to and has been referred to for many, many years. The first off, of course, at the beginning of the month is the IMS road course event. Again, never a form guide to the 500. There's a bit of a period after Long Beach where the open test will obviously happen for INDYCAR on the oval at IMS, and then we get the road course event, and then of course only a couple of weeks later it's the 110th running of the Indy 500. Nothing much else to say than that, other than you've got to get it on your bucket list. If it hasn't been there, get it on there. From there, of course, the hectic part of the season starts. The following weekend, downtown Detroit, another Tony Kottman designed circuit working within the limitations of Detroit, because don't forget, it's bordering on the Canadian border, and part of the track actually goes through where the tunnels go to get across to Canada. So there's a lot of logistics that happen in Detroit, and of course it's around the Renaissance Centre as well, the home of GM. So that's a good race. It's a bit of a stop-start kind of track, a very short lap, but again, it's part of it. One of the rougher tracks of the season as well. But bring it on. Then the real onslaught starts. Worldwide Technology, back on an oval, medium speed oval, June the 7th. Be a great race. I'm assuming it'll be a night race. Certainly hope it will be. It'd be great if it is. Just love that place. Very, very good. A very unique oval. Then to the end of the month, the 21st of June, Road America. Traditional long sweeping road course track. Been on the IndyCar calendar for quite a while. Deserves to stay. Nothing much else to say on that. It's followed by July the 5th. And the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, once the home of Dixon, where he dominated there in recent years. Many others have tried to dethrone him from that mantle, shall we say, but always a good facility. Onwards then to the first of the surprises in my eyes, and maybe a little bit of disappointment as well. July the 19th, Nashville Super Speedway, gone from the end of the season and into the sort of mid three-quarter mark of the season, presumably, or I've heard that it will be a night race. Love that immensely. It'd be a great night race. The lights and everything there would be phenomenal. So like that. But very sad for Nashville not to be the season ender. They did a great job on that. But all the same, again, if you're in the Midwest, it's very easy to get to. A couple of hours drive from Indianapolis. It's another one that you want to go to. Airport facilities into Nashville, great. And we'll talk more about going to events in another show. But just sad to see that there. Then, August the 9th, the big trek back over to the West Coast in Portland. Portland always, by about this time, is starting to show the form guide in the championship season, and could be interesting. And, of course, turn one there is always very interesting as well. Then back to the sort of East Coast again, but up into Canada, outside of Toronto, new street circuit there in Markham. It's a good fill-in for the developments that are happening around the downtown area in Toronto, and of course World Cup soccer in this period as well. So there's a lot of things going on, but at least we have a race in Canada again, and I think that that'll be really good. Actually, it's just a really good thing to see. But another street circuit, and I'm kind of getting to think that maybe we've got enough street circuits in here. Then, the end of the month, August the 29th and 30th, two races, double header at the Milwaukee Mile. So back to being a double header again. I kind of like this and I kind of don't. I don't like it at the end of the season because it can dictate a championship. But then again, you're into play, so it's the same for everyone. So that's just the way it goes. But double header returns to Milwaukee. And of course, the oval that we're missing in all of this is Iowa. It's gone from the calendar. I feel very sorry for Iowa. It's a great facility. They put on a great thing. I think the timing of the race this year wasn't flash for them. It conflicted with a lot of things that were going on in Newton and Des Moines and that sort of stuff. But anyway, that's gone from the calendar. Hopefully one day that returns. And then we go back to the west coast of California again, September the 6th, the WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca for the final round of the NTT Championship for 2026. Don't get me wrong here, Laguna provides a great facility, great amenities there, great number of things around the area, certainly a very interesting racetrack. I do think, however, that qualifying is really important at Laguna, and we've seen over recent years, qualify well, you win at Laguna. So I just would have preferred it, I guess, in my own mind, if the series had stayed at Nashville for the end. But, good on Laguna, they're in there, and that's the way these things work. So there's a lot of backwards and forwards, West Coast, East Coast in that last period of the season for the teams. But all in all, we've ended up with a calendar now. So the things that are missing, just recapping it, Iowa's gone, Mexico's not there, thermal has gone as well. I think that was just a phase that IndyCar was going through. Not disappointed about that. Great facility, certainly, but not, I believe, a facility that belongs in the championship. So that's gone. We've added in Arlington Downtown Street Race. We've brought back Phoenix, a double header, which will be very, very interesting. New street course in Canada. So it's game on for 2026. Well, there you have it. Chance to catch your breath after all of that, really, isn't it? But, it's a good calendar. It's pretty solid. March is very solid, which is an area that it hasn't been in recent years. So it's good to see that happen. As I said, a little bit disappointed about Nashville and Laguna swapping around. But, hey, that's the way it goes. That's what it is. And we have a calendar. And we'll see how it plays out. But it's certainly going to be an exciting season. Onwards now to drivers. So, of course, the willpower move was the trigger move that started many things. But there's a ripple effect that takes place. The big one, of course, that we were always waiting for, always knew, the worst kept secret. David Malukas, now officially a Team Penske driver. He'll be in the Horizon Chevy next year, car number 12, taking over that number from Will Power. And David Malukas, you are now a Team Penske driver. I don't think there's much more to say on that. Malukas now has to prove that he's the next generation of driver, really. There's been a lot of talk about him. He had a stint at McLaren, hurt his wrist. He's been all over the place, but now is the time to deliver. He'll find that transition to Team Penske, I think, pretty big, but he's got two great teammates around him with Joseph Newgarden and Kiwi Scott McLaughlin. So we now have a new formation of the worst kept secret in IndyCar this year, David Malukas, Team Penske. Then onwards to the variables, of course, that happen as a result of that. And there's now seat free at AJ Foyt. Everyone thought that Rinus VeeKay would go there, but there now seems to be some doubt about that. And nothing has been said other than the fact that VeeKay is not certain for the AJ Foyt team for next year. Ferrucci's signed up, yes, we know that, but what will happen in that second seat? Don't know. I'd like to see VeeKay there. I hope he gets there. He deserves to be in the series, that's for sure. So we're going to have to wait and see how that plays out. So that may be one of the next cards to fall. Then the other team that had seats that were available, two of them, Dale Coyne Racing, Dale always an engineer of lots of things, and announced just this morning Dennis Hager, the reigning Indy Next champion, taking that seat. Obviously, he comes with some scholarship money, having won the championship in Indy Next this year. But the big factor that came out of this, not only is Hager going to Coyne, but there's a strategic alliance now between Andretti and Dale Coyne Racing. That will benefit Dale Coyne astronomically, and it will also aid, I believe, the future path for Dennis Hager, because I would say he's still on Andretti books, and this is a grooming shop, if you like, for him with Dale Coyne Racing, and we'll see how he plays out there. So he's signed up, so that's one seat gone at Coyne. Who will get the other one? Don't know. There's been a lot of talk. Maybe Romain Grosjean, but then Romain Grosjean's been linked with Hollinger Racing as well. Juncos Hollinger still not announcing their driver lineup, other than the fact that we know Stingray Rob's in. So where's that leave Connor Daly? He could be on the outer, that's for sure. It leaves him pretty much really only the Coyne seat and where he has been all season to go back to. Other contenders, as I said, Grosjean is certainly a contender for both of those seats. And then there's a few other drivers hanging around on the horizon. So there's plenty going on. But in essence, they are really the only two remaining seats. Everyone else is pretty much locked in. Team Penske locked away now. Ganassi locked away with their three drivers. McLaren locked away with the existing lineup that they have. So most of those teams have things in place other than those two teams. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I'm sure we'll hear more about that in the coming days. That is the latest that I know of, and that is all legit from teams and contacts that I have in the IndyCar series telling me that's where things are right now. So it's looking good. There's some changes coming to Indy Next as well. We'll probably go into a bit more detail on those in the next show because it takes quite a bit to get through. But basically there's a cap now on the number of cars that each team can field. I'm just hoping that there's good things there for New Zealanders Callum Hedge and Liam Skeets. We want them back in that series next year. Callum certainly will be his third year in the series. This is the time to deliver, and he can do that. There is no doubt about that. For Liam, a full season campaign will be phenomenal if he can pull that off. So there's a lot coming in the Indy Next series, and as I said, we'll talk about that in the next show. For our next show, of course, though, however, will come to you from Atlanta, the Atlanta road course event for INSMA, the season-ending 10-hour Petit Le Mans there in just a couple of weeks' time, and we're going to present Racing World from there. We're there shooting our third and final documentary in the Kiwis Born to Fly series. If you haven't caught up with them in the past or haven't been able to see them, number 2 will be on YouTube shortly. Number 3 releases in New Zealand next year. And then that will make its way to YouTube eventually as well. Number 1, unfortunately, can't screen on YouTube due to some rights issues with it, but it's had a great run as well. But here's a sneak peek of number 3.
We're doing lap records everywhere we go. It's the series is super competitive.
We've got leading drivers in the World Endurance Championship, leading drivers in Formula E, leading drivers in V8 Supercar, leading drivers in NASCAR, leading drivers in INDYCAR, and a driver in F1.
Nearly $2.5 million Kiwi worth of investment gone into my career today.
It's been a huge step for him to take and leap into this.
And Colin was just so generous from the outset.
You probably got a little bit more control in engineering than you do as a driver.
Kenny's definitely, for me, he's, in New Zealand sport, he's the number 1 legacy.
I'm really proud to be one of many New Zealanders representing New Zealand.
Yes, it's pretty exciting to see the fact that we've made 3 of these documentaries. We're in the process of making number 3. Looking forward to being at Atlanta in a couple of weeks' time, speaking with Kiwi icon Earl Bamber up there, amongst other people. We spoke with Breeden Hartley recently at COTA. It's great to have these very iconic New Zealanders as part of the show. You know, multiple Le Mans winners, a lot of people behind the scenes as well that we'll be talking to, engineers and technical people that are New Zealanders, and that has always been the brief of Kiwis Born to Fly, to profile New Zealanders within the sport on a global stage. Also looking forward to talking to sensations in the LMP2 class, Hunter McElrea, and in Porsche we have Madeline Stewart consistently finishing in the top 10, and then Ryan Yardley fighting for a championship win this season. It's going to be great to talk with him. So there's a lot of people that we're going to catch up with when we're in Atlanta, and we look forward to sharing some of that with you. It's a pretty rapid fire show. Wanted to get this news out, couldn't wait any longer in terms of what the driver movements were and the calendar for IndyCar. We'll have more from Atlanta for you. Yeah, I didn't even know where I was going to be. But more from Atlanta in just a couple of weeks' time. Until then, catch up. Don't forget, share, like, and subscribe Racing World. The more we get on this, the more I'll be able to generate more product for you. So thanks so much once again. Look forward to your comments. See you again soon.